should yell, just like, but I'm not gonna do it today. Good morning, kid.
Good morning.
I'm like extra loud today.
That's all right.
All right, man, turn that down. Let's get into it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful Friday. It is Friday. My phones are going off because I didn't turn them down. But guess what? So what? Because it's Friday.
It's
Welcome
all right.
to Integrity's Business, the podcast where we deal with integrity and the business of integrity, and we make sure we deal with our businesses as well.
Yes, we do.
Like always, it is always brought to you by the Business and Personal Finance Empowerment Academy. Classes now are forming for April. We have an informational session coming up in March. At this point, it's looking like it's going to be the later part of March, which is fine for us because we're just making sure we get together. We're kind of settling up the location as far as where we're going to actually be doing it, so we're having such a blast right now. I had a great meeting last week, Tiff. It really went well. So I kind of got a rant today, but kind of not really. I guess my rant today is simply the idea of business owners. And I guess it's more of a warning than a rant today. Make sure you find people that are dedicated to what they love to do.
Yes, that makes a big difference in the service you're going to get.
Yeah, because I was talking to, and something just happened to me, and I was talking to a client yesterday. He's a large client. So we were just talking, and I said, one of the reasons why I don't have a large team is like I used to is because I have found that having the dedicated people who love doing what they do, I normally try to find a person and I get to know them and I learn what their strengths are, and then I put them in that position where they can flourish with those strengths. And then we can kind of, because I don't believe you can, so I have a different definition for strength, weaknesses, and maturity and immaturity, okay? And so for me, when I look at a strength is what you love doing, what you can be dedicated at. And even if I didn't pay you, you would be doing that thing anyway. And if you're not doing it with me, you'll be doing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's your strength. That's normally what you love to do. A weakness is something you can't change. And I know people think about, well, no, I can get stronger. This is how I look at it. If I'm in a wheelchair, I can't change the fact that I'm in a wheelchair. That's my weakness. I can't change that. So what I do is I make the things that I can do stronger.
Right.
So being in the wheelchair really doesn't affect me. Or whatever it is. Some people are not quick-witted, but they're great thinkers. Instead of trying to be like a quick-witted person, you just make everyone slow down to your pace and you think and just be quiet. You don't have to say anything. Let people be uncomfortable in your silence as you're thinking about whatever it is, the solution you're going to bring, because your thought process is your strength. But then I have immature and mature people. An immature person is one who has all the tools that are necessary to accomplish what they need. They just refuse to do it. That's an immature person. So granted, if I tell my kids, hey, I need you to clean your room, do your homework, and then clean the kitchen or whatever, you have all the tools that you need that are right at your disposal. If I come back in the house and it's not done, you're being immature.
Yeah.
Because if you needed something, you should have said something, but you don't need anything because you have everything at your disposal to accomplish those set feats. Why haven't you done it? Because you're immature. You refuse to just utilize the tools you have, versus a person who has all the tools and they continually accomplish the things they want to accomplish. And when they can't, most of the time, most people will try to measure it and say, well, it's because they don't have this. It's like, no, maybe they needed more tools or they needed new tools and they have to obtain those, and then you'll find them flourishing again. It's just like when we talk about clients. So it kind of rolls right into what I wanted to talk to you about today. It rolls right into when people are literally purchasing houses, or business owners are starting up a new business, or even starting another arm of their business. A lot of times what I'm noticing with my clients is they just don't have the proper tools. I just had a meeting on Wednesday this week, and it was two gentlemen came in, and they both are doing phenomenal. I mean, like, one is making over $3 million in his business, and he has two businesses, and his other business is making well over maybe like $500,000, right? And then the other gentleman, he has another business where it's making over $1 million a year. And they're trying to figure out, why can't we get to this next space? Why can't we do this? And as the conversation was going on, I noticed, as I'm asking those open-ended questions to get information, I'm basically doing a needs analysis during the consultation, I'm noticing they don't have certain tools. This wasn't a weakness. They just never had the tools.
Yeah.
Because once I start giving some information, I'm starting giving them tools. They even started to notice, oh, that's why I couldn't get this done, because I don't understand this. And I was like, yes. And so I'm noticing, I'm learning with some people, even though I've met people and I'm finding people with me that are dedicated and they love this, do they really want to obtain the new tools so they can continue to become better at what they're doing? That's where I'm at with people now. It's almost like I've met people, I've learned how to kind of read people, so to speak, or I would even say discern. It's a gift I utilize. And I understand to watch people and to discern a person, to understand I'm quiet long enough with them and I've worked with them. And it's like the things you're strong at, you are really strong at. But you lack some tools that are needed to get you to that next space. I don't like the word levels. I hate levels. People say, to the next level. We're not on elevators. And the reason why I like levels is it's a personal thing.
Yeah, but levels it sounds linear.
Right.
And that's why I like space.
Yes. Because you feel more space. See, and that's why you my sister, because that's why we rock. And I love the earrings, by the way.
Thank you. Hubby bought them.
So, but that's the reality for me, right? Because the more you obtain, the more space you can fill. Like you said, with levels, it's all linear. It annoys me.
It sounds like that's what I hear when I hear the word level.
Right. And so I'm starting to realize that some people, regardless of how strong they may be in an area, they're comfortable there.
Yeah.
They don't want to obtain the more tools so they can fill more space and be greater at what they do. And that's hard for me.
I understand.
I'm learning that that's a hard spot for me, because I'm like, yo, like you could be so much, and they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just seeing more for someone than they see for themselves, or they're willing to work to get there. And so to me, it's the difference between wanting something and wishing for something. Whereas it would be nice if I could do this in my business, but here's the tools so that you can achieve this in your business. But no, I'm comfortable, so I'm not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. So to me, you don't want it. You kind of just wish for it, or it would be nice.
Right. And I agree with you 100%, because that's the thing. Hold on, this is annoying me. Stupid cord on my foot got stuck. Like, how you try not to do it because you're on camera. Like, forget that, move.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's the thing, and I've noticed how with some people, I'm not comfortable being around them anymore because they're comfortable, because I don't want to become comfortable.
Right.
And then so I asked myself that, I was like, am I being mean? And then I was like, no, I'm not. Like I'm not. Like I heard this when I was younger. I always keep it with me. I've heard it often over and over again, but it's just a true statement. Don't let good be the enemy of great. And I watch people let good be the enemy to their great. And we all can shine together. We don't have to stop. Yeah. Like, no one has to dim so someone else can shine. This ain't Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Like, relax. Yes, I hate the Cowboys. So it's like this isn't that. But I also see it where some people become complacent because they're comfortable. And for me, complacency doesn't have, and I think for me, right? So here the reality is, some people would say it's because I'm a man and I own a business. No, for me, I would say it's because of when I was younger. I've been taking care of myself since I was 17, been on my own since 17. And my parents helped me here and there when I really, really needed it. But roof over my head was me, 17. And my godparents helped me. At one point I stayed with them for some time. School, college, on campus. But it's like, through most of that, it was always me working, doing what I needed to do. And I always noticed for years, I was the youngest person at every job I've ever had. Like, everywhere I worked. Blue Cross, I would say, when I say jobs, like the large. So when I got to core states, I was still in school. Youngest person in the AIDS department. Youngest cash puller. And only male cash puller. When I think about it, right? When I get upstairs, I got promotion to the service consultant team. Youngest person on the team. And I'm learning from all of these senior, colleagues that are, and I'm listening, because I don't want to stay in that place where I feel like I am struggling.
Yeah.
Right? But then it got to a point where I got comfortable with good.
Yeah, to me that gets boring. To me, it's simply boring.
Gotcha.
when
No,
you
I
get
got
like that.
comfortable with good where I was cool. Like, oh, I got enough when I'm cool. Then I had kids. But I was still comfortable with good. And then one day, and I'm married now, and I got 2 kids, and I got a job, I'm making money, or I got to hustle, you know, and a job, or I just got to hustle.
Yeah.
Vanessa checked me one day, and she didn't say you've gotten comfortable or complacent. Nah, she just was like, we need more, and also you need to stay home more, because at this time Mickel was born and he was younger. Now we got 3 kids, or somewhat 2.5, because Isaiah's back and forth. We are between our house and his mom's house. But still, he was home with us just as much, or a little more, just because of the custody agreement. But it was the concept of you're not home enough because church. Be
Yeah.
honest,
I remember.
right?
I knew y'all then.
Right. I know it's been so long. It's down my life, Tiffany. No, it's not. But with that being said, right, all of that slowed me, and then she made me not. She did, but it was a great thing. She put my yo, and you got to be home more. We got 3 kids, but in doing that, that's when good wasn't good enough anymore for me. It was like, because my wife pulled my coattail, gave me some great advice, and said, we need you here more than anybody outside needs you. And it slowed me down. And I look and I'm like, damn, she right. I got 2 sons. I have a daughter. I have a wife. And God knows I never needed more than 2 women in my life, as far as my wife and my daughter. Because, and most people, when they hear me say that, like when Mickel was conceived and we found out we were having another baby, I told the nurse, oh, it's a boy. Don't even worry about that. She was like, well, how do you know? She's too early. Listen, my exact words was, God loves me too much for me to have another girl. People took that out of context when we were then. And I finally explained it. And yes, I was younger, so I was more arrogant, more brash. I'm still brash, but I'm not as arrogant. And I kind of let people take it the wrong way. So finally, one person asked, what does that mean, Mickel? And I said, oh, because most people just took it and just ran with it, so I wouldn't explain it. And she said, Mickel, what does that mean? Because that sounds bad. I said, oh, well, I'll tell you what it means. What it means is I break my neck for my wife. I break my neck for my daughter. Sydney was 4. Whatever she wanted, Daddy was trying to get it. Same thing with the boys. But as you get older and as the boys get older, it becomes a difference. Because now I have to become what they need me to be. But I also had to become what I wanted them to be.
Right.
And so as a man, the boys, a little different. My daughter, a little different. And I'm harder on my sons than I am with my daughter. And I always tell people, if I had 2 daughters, if I had what you have, Lord, I would be dead. Because I literally would be breaking my neck for you, for Renee, for Robin, for Ryan. I break my neck for, like, Sydney's the only one who literally can come to me right. If she called me right now, she's at work. She called me right now and said, Dad, I need $1,000. Whether I had it or not, she was going to get it by this afternoon.
Yeah.
If Isaiah called me and be like, Dad, I need $1,000, I'm like, for what? What we doing? When did you know? Now, I'm going to yell at Sydney later, but I'm going to yell at her after I done gave her $1,000.
Yeah. And my husband is the
It's
same
right.
way.
It's a difference. So I break my neck. So I'm like, if I had 2 of y'all, come on, man, I'll be hurting somewhere. So I always knew the concept of that. I couldn't handle that because I just remember what it was when I was young.
Okay.
And then the conversation we had last week talking about parenting adult children. Me and Nessa had a great conversation because after she saw the video, I haven't even put those videos up. I got to get both of them up. Nessa saw it and she was like, that's a great conversation. And this is what she said to me, Tiff. And I sat there reveling in the words she gave me. And I'm like, wow. She said, Mickel, when did you start working? I was like 14. Nessa started working when she was like 16, right? She said, when did you get your first paycheck? I remember. I said, girl, I blew that thing. I went to City Blue. Yeah, I'm telling on my age. I went to City Blue in the gallery. I went to Foot Locker, got me some sneaks, got some Timbs. It was the wintertime. I went to this jewelry store on between 9th and 10th. And I'm sorry. Yeah, between 9th and 10th. No, between 10th and 11th. I went to the jewelry store. Was on the other side of the market from the gallery. Went got me a hand bone chain. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then I realized I had no more money. And then my mother's words show up in my mind. You need to make sure you can get to work for the next 2 weeks while you once you started working, because I got my first paycheck, because she got me my trans pass then. Well, I had to go back to City Blue. Had to take my stuff back because I had to get those trans passes.
Yeah.
So I learned. My whole point, Vanessa's whole point was you learned what to do with your money over time. I'm expecting Sydney to have what I had at 19 when she just got her first job.
Yeah. I'm learning that as a parent, because we were raised different. We had to figure things out for ourselves. Pretty much everything.
Yep.
I felt like my parents taught me school stuff, and of course showed me how to do stuff in the house.
Right.
But anything outside of what they specifically taught me, I had to learn on my own. It wasn't like, mom was at work, so I
Right.
wasn't walking up to her and asking a question. Dad was at work, and so
Yep.
it wasn't like I had them around me all the time, because we was home alone.
Latchkey generation.
Listen, my dog was my babysitter, so
The
but
phone
like,
was ours.
but like we didn't have access to the answers to our questions. And
Yep.
so we figured it out, and that became our thought process of when we have a problem. The first thing we try and figure it out.
Problem solved, baby.
And I felt myself asking my kids, like, why you don't know that? You've been here all this time. How you don't know that? And even something simple as we grew up with the beginning of Google. So we figured out all the kinks of how to ask Google a question.
Well, that's not true. We were adults when Google came out. I was at Merrill when Google showed up.
Yeah, but we had already been on the internet.
Right.
We were the ones.
We are the neos.
Right. So, but even like with Google, again, we're coming from people who already had to figure it out. So we're
Right.
starting there. We already had to figure it out. So when Google came out, we immediately started to ask it questions and look for stuff. It was us who figured out, ask Google the question the same way you asked me, and you're gonna get the answer.
Right.
It really did not occur to me that my kids wouldn't know that.
Right.
Because they've always had it, and they always like it. It just seemed to work for what they need, but when they need more, they didn't know how to get that.
Right.
We were taught. Well, weren't taught. We had to question until you get what you need to figure out. And so, like you said, how you were expecting Sydney to know what you know when you develop those tools, like Nessa said, over time. I'm learning the same thing with my adult children, like telling them to put money aside, talking to them about credit, talking to them about their space.
Yep.
And talking to them about their space. Like, you're a little bit stressed because your room is messy.
Uh,
Like,
I don't think. Okay, so Jordan Peterson's book. Have you ever read it?
no.
Okay. I like Jordan Peterson. I was about to say I love, but I really like Jordan. I don't really love. I like Jordan Peterson, and I would say I agree with about 80% of the stuff that he says. And so his book, which I don't remember the actual name of right now, his first book, the 12 Ways or Reasons, whatever it is. The kids bought it for me for Christmas a couple years ago, and I read that thing from cover to cover in like 3 days. I literally gave my kids the book. I said, y'all all need to read this. And I remember Isaiah was like, why, Dad? I said, because I've been saying this to y'all. So I would say about 8 of the things in there is just standard operating procedures for growing up. And which we call in our house the standard. The standard has been set. Stop hanging out with your friends thinking that you can lower the bar of your standard because theirs is not the same height as yours. So we kind of had that conversation, and they brought me the book. And then Isaiah read it and was like, yo, Dad, this book is good. And it's like you said, it's very simple things. 1, get a good night's sleep. 2, eat breakfast. 3, clean up your room. It's because these are very simple things. 1, and I even add for our children, get out of your room. You cannot sit in the same space and expect that your brain is going to be healthier, expect that your brain is going to be more logical, you expect that your imagination is going to be more fluid. It does not happen when you sit in the same room.
Yeah.
If you see the same 4 walls, your brain kind of starts to lock you into those same 4 walls. You have to get out. I make sure my kids go outside. I am kind of still that dinosaur parent where I will tell Sydney, if you're not, go hang out with your friends. Mickel, go out.
Yeah.
Mickel has a place, it's like the Garden of something. I call it the Garden of Gethsemane or Garden of Eden because it's gardens in the name. But it's a great place. Like, he go play Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments there. He go trade cards there. He go play video games there. But he's outside.
Yeah.
And it's a safe haven because the building itself has 2 emergency exits, but they're in like a huge basement, which is like a whole gaming space. but they're in there, and shout out to them. I'm gonna actually learn their name and give them a shout out. But the space is awesome. I make him get out. If he, bro, get out. You haven't been there in a couple weeks. I know you got homework. And he's an honor student. So like this year, he's literally taking 2 AP courses and 3 honor classes. His only regular class is Spanish. Everything else is an honor or an AP course. And so I know you got a lot of homework. I know you got studying, but you got to also get out. You have to manage this stuff. And he's learning how to manage it really, really well. But back to your point is like those simple things, like keep your room clean, get a good night's sleep, eat breakfast. Don't say I don't like breakfast. Maybe you don't like a heavy breakfast, but you must put something in your body in the morning because it gets your body moving. It's fuel for your body. So little things like that, you know, and like I said, going back to, but I agree with what you said wholeheartedly. We had card catalogs. Like, see that smile? You know what I'm saying? We had card catalogs. I said that to my kids. They were like, what's that? I was like, y'all don't go to the library for nothing. So literally, like, me and Vanessa still have a dictionary in the house. We have a separate thesaurus. And we make them grab, you need what? Go grab that dictionary. Go grab the thesaurus. I'm not telling you. Go figure it out for yourself. We've literally have done that to our children, and we do it on purpose.
That's good.
Because certain things, you don't, I think this generation has lost 2 things. One, they lost problem-solving skills, which is a skill.
Yeah. And
they also lost the ability to persevere. But it's because, and this is the thing, it's not their fault. People keep saying this generation, it's you, it's me, it's us parents. We keep swooping and saving them.
Yeah. But we're doing that because nobody saved us.
Right.
And that's the reflex. That's
unhealthy behavior.
It definitely is, but it's still a reflex. It's an unhealthy reflex.
Unhealthy.
It's still a reflex.
And that's the part that me and Nessa have been diving into and discovering over these last couple of weeks. It's like she sat back. Isaiah's first job was with me. Isaiah's second job was with me. His third job was at a dollar store, which he quit because it was horrible. His fourth job was with me. City's first job with me. Because I didn't let them work no more. You work with Dad in the summer. Let's go. You work with Dad's company this summer. Let's go. I got them jobs at the park sometimes in the summer because why? It was with me because I was on the advisory council. So I took them down to City Hall, or not City Hall, the municipal building. They got their paperwork, got everything done. I took other kids. Yeah. Got them jobs around the parks. Why? Because I was there, because it was me. You was with me. So if you wasn't with my company, you want to visit them, you was working over at Parks Advisory. You was working over at the Parks and Rec because I was in the advisory council. So it was like, I did it. And don't get me wrong, I had to learn a balance. I'm not going to stop doing it. Yeah. I just got my daughter to interview one of my clients. They looking for someone to manage all their social media. That's what she does for me. I got to interview there. I'm not stopping the nepotism. I'm going to use the hell out of it. But I also have to be mindful that if she can't figure certain things out, I got to step back and let her figure it and let her bang her head. So one of the things we talked with Sydney, and I didn't think we was going to go this route, but we got time. One of the things we did with Sydney, we had a conversation. We said, listen, you can't make a decision before you come talk. I mean, you cannot talk to me and Mom before you make a decision. You have to make a decision, then you can come talk to me and Mom about it. Unless it's life or death, unless it's something huge. Other than that, you need to make the decision, then come talk to me and Mom and Dad if you feel that you need to still come talk to us.
Or flesh it out, yeah.
That's it. I said, but you can no longer come to us because you're not learning how to problem solve. Yeah. You're not learning how to make a mistake and persevere. And you're not building the character in yourself that says, I can do this even if it didn't work out the first time. Yeah. I can still do it. You don't have the confidence to bet on you. Yeah. By the time I was 17, because that's why I moved out, I had the confidence to bet on me. Yeah. Listen, that's why I started my business. No one around me believed, not even my wife. And when I say she didn't believe, Vanessa believed it could be done, but she's the one that's going through it with me. So I never take nothing from her. But other people who didn't have to go through what I went through with me, why didn't you believe? It didn't affect you, not one way, shape, or form, to encourage me.
Right.
But it was like, no, man, you got to worry about this. And, well, what if this happens? Well, what if it don't happen? I never forget my own father. I told him I was starting my business. I was going, full time because the 2007 happened, and I was already running the business part time, so it was already open, just doing it part time. And when the economy went up, 2007, 2008, because 2007 was the preamble to which I saw 2008, 2009, and then it was like boom, I was doing mortgage modifications already for people and just had a slew of them show up. And so I was, I'm going full time. My dad literally said, well, you got a family. Duh, I know.
That's how I'm going to feed them. Yeah.
Right. Well, what if it don't work? I said, but what if it do work?
But
and it was like, it's just one of those things where I watch people and I'm like, y'all really? Like, it don't cost you nothing to encourage me.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you're doing something for the first time, or, you know, and it wasn't like it was new to you. You were just doing it full
Right.
time. But I would think that as a man, given that you had already been doing this part time and seeing what it was doing, why wouldn't it work for you to do it full time? Like, why wouldn't it? And if it did not, I think you would find something else to do.
And that's the thing I told myself. I said, you know what? The worst thing that'll happen is I go out here, I don't make no money, or I got to keep reinvesting money into what I'm doing. And eventually I say, you know what? I'm done. Go get me a job. Because I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have my family out in the street. And I think that's like everyone's idea, like, you're going to be homeless. Who's like, come on, I'm not choosing that.
That we're going to work to not be homeless.
Right.
Like, nobody wants to
be. And I swear, like, I promise you, to this day, today, I've been running Vism full time now. 17 years, maybe? 17, 18 years now, right? I'm trying to think of the time frame. So it's 2024. So just backtrack. 8 years was 8 from 24.
Well, yeah, it's
So
2025
16.
now, so you going into another
Oh yeah,
one.
going into right. So I'm going to 17 years full time. Man, running it period has been over 19 years, but full time, like nothing else but this, going on 17 years, right? Most of my family have no clue what I do, and I don't go out my way to explain it to them. I don't, because what I know, their brain can't wrap around a financial consultant. Most people's can. Most people say, financial advisor. I said, no, I did that. I tried that at Merrill Lynch.
That's not the same.
None of y'all have $250,000 disposable income for me to come get. Okay, so that didn't work for me. And my licenses was good. But I had to learn how to pivot, because my skin color, I was going to be stuck on a small desk making $40,000, $50,000 the rest of my life, because I could never become a broker in that facet, because I don't know anyone who has that type of money.
Right.
So it would have took me forever to do what I'm doing now. But then I dove into, okay, what can I do with my skill set, with my knowledge, with my education, with my experience? And consulting showed up. And I was like, oh. And then I learned the rules of consulting. And I learned the laws of consulting. I'm like, oh, wait, this is real. Other folk doing this every day, all day.
Yeah.
And I started. To this day, Charlene Wright, that's my girl, right? Miss Charlene, we went to church together. Miss Charlene was my very first client, because I was teaching people how to buy cars.
I remember that.
Right? And I helped her get her first car. Her credit, we had to square it away. And I got to help her. She was my first client. And I'll never forget it. The emotion that I did not feel from the men and from the people around me who, oh, you know, we got to support each other, rah, rah. I think that was the break with me and all the BS with people. It was the thing that all y'all talked a good game, but when it was time to put your money where your mouth was, nobody showed up but a woman. And it was like, isn't that the history of black people? It's sad, but it's true.
Yes.
And not the total history, but it's like, it's always a woman that's picking up the slack when men just won't. But Miss Charlene, if Miss Charlene called me right now, whatever she wants, she got it for free. And I talked to her not too long ago. She had called me, we were talking about something, and she'd asked me a question, because she lived down south now. And she was talking to me about something. I said, Miss Charlene, whatever you want, you got it. It was one of her friends, needed some help. I said, whatever you want, you got it for free. She said, no, Mickel, we're going to pay. No. You invested in me when nobody else would. I remember stuff like that. Like stuff like that, I'll never let go. And so I talked to her. She get whatever she want. But most of my family, my father still, every time he goes up, he's racking his brain trying to figure out what I do.
Yeah.
But I won't go out of my way to explain to people, because when I'm working with people, some clients, they see, oh, you do this too? Oh, you do, you know. So that's kind of the first part of our Good Morning podcast. Excuse me, sorry about that. So that was a part of it, the rant. You know, we always get into it. I can't go on rants with you. It'd be 30 minutes. Like We 30 minutes in and we still talking about. I mean, it bridged to some good places. So I wanted to talk about today with you because it happened with a client this week. So I wanted to go over the idea of purchasing properties while owning multiple properties. Because I think some people get this, some people have no clue how to get this. Okay? And as our ethnicity, right? I can't speak about any other ethnicities. I have never been white or Asian or Spanish or Dominican or what have you, right? Or German or Irish or whatever. I've been black my whole life. I, kind of couldn't help it, right? And I just keep going back to what my parents told me when I was younger. Pay everything off. Don't owe nobody. And then they use this one. The Bible says, "Oh, no man, nothing but a debt of love." I understand what you're saying, but don't be indebted. Don't be a slave to anyone. Okay? And because my people don't know money, we think if we borrow money, we're enslaved to that company. See what you're going to owe them. Time out, boo boo, relax.
The rate of return of somebody else's money is always higher than your own.
But not only that, it's called an asset for a reason. I had a guy on a video, and someone sent it to me. My boy Vernell sent it to me. And he was like, a house is not an asset. It's a liability. Unless you go buy that house with cash, it's a liability. It's not an asset. So Vernell sent it to me. And I said, Vernell, I understand what he's trying to say, but he's 100% wrong.
But it ain't doing nothing for you.
But he's 100% wrong even in what he's saying. And Vernell was like, well, why you say that? I said, watch this. I said, he says that a house is a liability, right? He's like, yeah. And I said, and I understand what he's saying. Your primary residence, yeah, is definitely considered a liability until you have some equity in it. No question. I said, but he said a house. I said, bro, I tell people all the time, when you buy your rental property, buy it, get it squared away, put a renter in it, and do a cash out refinance and keep all that money and put it away. Okay? It's tax-free money. That's what the property's doing for me.
And that's the purpose of it.
It's literally bringing me income, but income immediately. I said, most people will sit back, purchase a rental property, and have no mortgage on it, and then just get rent. And now you're just waiting.
You're waiting every month for your money.
I got my money. I got to pay these taxes, the money. When if you would literally turn around, you bought it cash. Let's use arbitrary numbers. We bought it cash for $10,000. The property, we fixed it up. It's $200,000. That's the equity, right? That's the value of the house. Cash out refinance. And what most people don't understand is a cash out refinance is not like a mortgage loan. It's not like a HELOC. No, a cash out refinance is if the property's worth $200, you can get $180. Okay, $180,000 tax-free dollars. Now, here's why it's tax-free, people, so you understand. Because a loan is not taxable, and the loan must have three elements for it to be a loan. One, it must have a borrowed amount. Two, it must have an interest rate, and three, it must have a payoff date. That's a loan. If you have those three elements, it's considered a loan. And the moment it's a loan, the loan is on the property. They're giving you $180,000 cash, which means now I can take the $180,000 cash. Remember, I have a tenant in there. Now, here's the thing. People might be saying, okay, but now you just created debt. Now your debt to income just went up, and now your payment to income just went up.
But the rent payment is going to
what? Wait a minute. Say it again. Go, Tiff.
The rent payment is going to cancel that out if you got the right renter in the property. And say, for instance, you under rent the property. Even if you under rent it, that income that you're getting from the rent counts against your debt to income.
Come on now.
Like
Preach.
There's no way to lose, really.
Preach.
If you plan it, there's no way to lose.
And if you do it right, we have a little thing in this city called Section 8.
How about it?
Which means I can rent my property out for more than what my mortgage is. I tell people all the time, if you set it up properly, you should be making $500 to $600 above the mortgage. And then you put that money away.
Yes.
Because watch this. I just got $180,000 tax-free cash sitting
for?
over here. So now that $500-600 you put away every month, that's for if things pop, things break. Pipe go, gotta get a new roof, gotta get little things. You got the $500-600. That $180, now I can go use that money for other things.
Yes.
So watch this. If my primary residence, I purchased it because it's mine. I live there, I'm paying my mortgage. Then I go out and I get properties and I put renters in them and I'm making that money and I do a cash out refinance, that's $180. I do another cash out refinance, I do another $180. I do a cash out refinance, I got another $200. Well, think about it. I just turned around. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 I got $560,000 that I just put up. You know what I could do, people? I could put that on my mortgage.
How about it?
And now most people will say, well, why would you do that? Well, because I can get rid of that debt and now I have equity in that property. But let me tell you how to do it. Let me tell you how to even work that even better. Ready, my good people? You turn around, you take that 560, you put it in a CD and you lock it up. Then you borrow against that CD, take that money and put it on your mortgage. Because now the equity in my mortgage just became more. The lender don't even want my house because they're not looking at my house. They have no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah,
they're looking at the CD. And then I turn around and the CD's earning interest. Now I go get a HELOC so I can do other things with that money. I'm always using someone else's money.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. Other than the 560 that I have locked up, everything else other than my house, because my house is pretty much solid. The HELOC and the 560 are really the only things I ever have to really be concerned about. Because if the economy go bust again, or if I need to get rid of some properties, I can file for bankruptcy and get rid of all them other properties and then just go ahead and make sure my HELOC is good, my 560 is good, and I'm still happy.
In my house.
Didn't lose a thing. These are the things that we're teaching people, and these are the things that I literally I went to my client's house. The meeting time was 10:30. I got there 10:30. I go in. I left at 1:30. That's, first of all, too long to be with a client.
Yeah, of course.
But I had time, so we was chilling. And I know him personally, so we was there. But it started out as a simple conversation, and we got just talking. I'm like, well, you, and then he made the statement, which was a great one. He said, well, is there a way for me to keep the house and still go buy another house? I was like, yeah. And then that's how we started getting into this. So I want you to go in, because I know we just went in real fast. I know we just had fun with that. But that's just one way. And we kind of manage more than one way. But what are some other ways?
That's the big fast way.
Right.
That's the big fast way. And that's the way, I would recommend.
Oh, yeah, all day, twice on Sunday.
Like for us poor folks, for us poor folks.
You mean temporary out of cash?
Yeah,
folks.
temporary out of cash with the low cash flow.
There you go.
I love like when the young person buys a house, FHA mortgage, grant money,
6%,
seller assist.
That's right.
Buys a house, very little money down, stays in it a year, maybe 2, gets out of it, qualifies for another house, rents out that first house, and does it again and again and again. Because you can fix up a house as you're living in it.
That's right.
Because you should be doing that anyway. You can fix up a house as you're living in it. I have had buyers who buy a house every 16 months. And that's how they built their portfolio.
Yep.
And it didn't cost them a whole lot because each time they were buying a primary residence.
There you go. And yes, people, they didn't go through this every 16 months. I know that. But if you don't buy a property, you can have a name, you can have a mortgage. So let's kill this myth. I want you to kill it. Can I have a mortgage and still qualify for a first-time home buyer program?
Technically, yes. But what it is it depends on the program. So like I was doing this myself. My primary residence, I was wanting to upgrade my house. And KFIT doesn't require, which is a PHFA program, doesn't require that I sell my property. That doesn't require that I sell my property in order to qualify for a new property. So
Correct.
I was getting a grant, and yes, it's for first-time home buyers, but it's also for secondary buyers or third. It doesn't matter as long as you meet certain like credit requirements, income requirements.
So her answer is yes, people.
You can still do it because I'm sure enough not like paying off this mortgage.
Right. Well, the requirement is 3 years.
Yeah.
Like that's the hard requirement.
Well, the hard requirement for first-time buyer is that your name can't have been on a deed within the last 3 years.
That's it.
In the state.
Right. No, your name can still be on a deed. Yes. No, so a lot, and I know this from WISFIS. I know this from...
Oh, because the inheritance. Yeah, I know somebody
right.
who...
I know. No, it's not even that. Well, I'm not sure if this changed or not. This would be if you would have to figure this out. I'm not diving into it. But I know from Drew at WISFIS and from Hakeem, the new rule, and when I say new to me, because it wasn't something I thought about, as long as you did not go through a mortgage process in the last 3 years.
Yeah, this is the mortgage process. Yeah.
You can have a mortgage. It could be 5 years out. I can go qualify for first-time home buyer. Now, understand, people. It could be, I'm hypothetical numbers now. It could be 20 first-time home buyer programs. 5 of them you may not qualify for.
Yeah.
Because your name is on the deed. So we're not saying just flat across the board, you can qualify for every first-time home buyer program. It's not what we're saying.
There are so many, especially in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Especially in Philadelphia.
So you're going to qualify as long as you have not gone through the deed process or the mortgage process in the last 3 years. You can go purchase another property and qualify for a FHA, first-time home buyer grants.
Let me tell you something. That FHA, PHFA.
Yes. and seller's assist up to 6%. And grants that's out here that will go towards your down payment. It's so many different ways to buy properties. People are not being creative. They don't have the tools. And that's why I tell people you got to get to the Business and Personal Finance Empowerment Academy, because we're giving people these tools. Because that's the one thing that I'm saying, like, yo, this is so important. People have to know it. People have to learn it. Like, you have to learn how to manage these things, understanding the information you have. But you got to get the information.
Yeah, you got to get the information. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I want to do this," and they want to start out doing it on their own. And the first thing they see that sounds good, that's what they go with.
Yep.
And then they come to me and they're like, "Oh, well, you could do this, and this." And this lenders has all 4 of these programs, so you don't have to shop around.
Yep.
Like, do research and talk to people. Ask questions.
Well, here's the thing I say, right? First of all, let's be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Are you a researcher? If not, stop trying.
Yes.
Are you a good communicator? If not, stop trying. Are you going to keep up with things? Are you a person that will continuously keep up with information? Are you a person that continues to dive into things? Because if you're not, stop trying. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start it, and then you're going to hit a brick wall and get discouraged. That's what I see so often. Yeah. It's like, think about it. Our mutual client, she looked for a home 4 years ago. She talked to the wrong person, got discouraged, stopped looking. Got to us, and I said, well, what changed between the last 4 years and now? She said, well, not much. And I said, well, where's your credit? She said, is this? I said, you should have been. But because she talked to the wrong person, she got discouraged. You can't talk to just one professional. I'll be the first person to tell you, you can come to Vism. You can come to Tifphani over at Keller Williams, but you don't have to stop there.
Right.
You can go keep talking to professionals and measure our words based on what another professional is saying. And this is the one thing I always tell people all the time. This is the one caveat I give where some professionals may be upset with me, but I don't care. If one professional is willing to put down another professional without knowing the whole story, run away from that person.
Yeah, that's...
Because the one thing I never do, and you can ask any client, clients have been upset with me. Clients have been upset with someone else. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to touch that. But why not? You can't, listen, I don't know what they were thinking.
Right, and all I can tell you is what I do.
Right, I don't know what they said. I don't know. And not only that, I believe there are 3 sides to every story. Yours, mine, and the truth. And if I wasn't in the room, I don't know the truth. Yeah. So I'm going to stay away from it. But anytime I find a professional that's willing to, oh, man, they didn't know what they was talking about. Come here. Come on over here and I'm help run. Because why would I put down a person that's doing this professionally and I wasn't in the room? I have no clue. You might have asked them a question about a conventional loan. And you come and asking me a question about a FHA mortgage. And it's like, nah. Or you might be coming to me asking me about a USDA mortgage. And it's like, but yet you had a conversation with another person. You're taking what they told you about that type of mortgage, and you're now trying to blend it with the type of mortgage we're talking about. And I'm like, well, no, that's not accurate. See, that person knew what they were talking about. Well, I'm not going to say that because I wasn't there.
Right.
I'm not sure what you guys were talking. We were talking about this. Okay, well, how about this? I'm going to tell you what I know about it. And then we can leave it at that. But I'm not going to, discuss another person. Right. I'm not going to put anyone down. I don't know. And so I won't speak on it. But anyone who's willing to just jump on that stuff, oh my God, they ain't no good. You need to run away from that person too.
Yeah, like my when people come to me talking about a bad experience, like, I'm sorry you experienced that,
right?
But this is what I do, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's crazy the stuff that people kind of get into. I had somebody, they yelled because a lawyer wasn't returning their phone calls and formulating their business. I said, he's a lawyer. And what do you mean? I said, lawyers litigate. He probably ain't never seen your paperwork. That's what a paralegal's for. I said, and if he's in a larger office, he definitely didn't see your paperwork because that's what the paralegal's for. Lawyers are litigators. If a lawyer is doing business formation and if a lawyer is writing contracts, they're not making much money because lawyers get paid when they go to court. That's where they make their bread at. So if they're not litigating something, they'll take on all those other things. Now, there are specific lawyers that there are specific contract lawyers that there are specific lawyers that do certain things. But for the most part, you just got a regular lawyer. They're normally a litigator.
It wasn't like a lawyer they knew.
Right, exactly. It's like they're normally a litigator. You can't be upset with this person because they're probably in court.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you ever want to know if a litigator, if a lawyer is a litigator or not, whether they tell you or not, I said, here's the greatest thing. Call them on a Tuesday or a Wednesday morning because that's when most court is, and then call them on a day when the courts are closed. Because normally they're in the office, they're by their phone. The day a court is closed, they're going through, different type of documents they have to, go read over, different type of filings they're reading over, and they'll answer the phone. Oh, you're in your office. You call on a Tuesday, Wednesday, you never give them the paralegal. They're in court.
Yeah.
For me, it's not hard, but for the average person, maybe for them to understand. So listen, we are out of time because you got to get out of here in 6 minutes. And I want to make sure I keep time.
I'm showing some foreclosures this afternoon.
Oh, shucks. Send them. Did you, me and Nessa, hello?
Oh, I forgot.
See, people, this what I get. This is my sister.
Because you got sick. You like.
This what happens when you have a sister that handles all your stuff for you. And here's the worst part. We're not even in a huge rush at all.
Yeah,
either.
but I was supposed to reach out to you and say when y'all want to go.
Thank you.
I never
Thank
did
you.
that.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
You never did that.
Don't worry
You're
about
right.
it. Because trust me, we're not a huge rush anyhow. Because she saw another property. I was like, she's like, what's wrong? I was like, you. I was like, you just sent me one property. We didn't go see it. She's like, but this was nice too. I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie. When we move, it's like, and we'll talk about this afterwards. Listen, so last words, we got to get out of here. Like I said, because Tiff has to go. So what's your last words for the day for the people out in the world?
Research, research, research.
You said research, research, research.
Yeah.
But I don't like research.
I like research.
So my last words are always, hey guys, everything here is brought to you by the Business and Personal Empowerment or Business and Personal Finance Empowerment Academy. Like I said, our informational session is coming up in March. Look out and listen out for the date. Everything else we're going to be doing is coming up very soon as well. My last words, like always, I'm leaving this flyer for on purpose, so please take a look at it, get the information. Because I'm telling you, everything is going to be filling up pretty fast once we start dropping stuff more and more. Get informed, get informed, get informed. Everybody there, have a great day.
Top of the world.